Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krish Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's it's Chaitanya Charitamrita Zoom class. It's from Adi Lila, chapter 4, and text 156 to 165. And this morning, we're very fortunate to have His Grace Vishnugada Prabhu ISKCON Philadelphia to give the class. Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances.
Kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Jai.
And I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity to talk about this verse. Hopefully it'll be okay. So I usually I chant the Padma Karuna prayer before the Chaitanya Charitamrita. I'm going to chant a different tune today. I'll chant the morning tune. Parama Karuna Bahu Dvijan Nitai Gaurachandra
Parama Karuna
Bahudvijana
Nitai Gora Chandra
Parama Karuna Bahu Dvijan Nitai Gaurachandra
Parama Karuna
Bahudvijana
Nitai Gora Chandra
Prab Avatar Shar Shiramani Kebala Ananda Kanda
Sabhavata Sharashiromani
Sharashirumani Kevala
Ananda
Ananda
Kanda
Kanda
Bhaja Bhaja Bhai Chaitanya Nithai Sudridha Vishvasha Kori
Vajo
Bhajo Bhajo
Vajo
Bhai
Vai
Chaitanya
Nitya
Nitai
Nitai Shudrida
Sudrita Vishwasa
Vishwasa
Kori
Kori
Vishaya Chadiya Sera Se Majia Mukhe Bholo Hari Hari
Vishaya Chadiya Sera Se Majia Mukhe
Mukhe
Bolo
Bolo Hari
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 Dekha Ore Bhai Tribhuvane Nai Emono Doyala Data
Dekho ore
Dekore
bhai
Pai
Tribhuvane nai
Tribhuvanai
Emona
Emona
doyala
Doyala
data
Data
Pashupaki Jhure Pashana Bidare Shunijar Gunagata.
Pashupaki jure
jure
Pashana
Pashana
Vidare
Vedare
Shuni
Shuni
Chandra
Januraguna
Gunaga
Gata
Sansare Majia Rohili Podia. Shepode Nahilo Asha.
Samsare
Samsare
Majia
Majia
Rohili
Rokili
Poriya
Puria
Sepade
Sepane
Nahilo
Nahilo
Asha
Asha
Apana Koramo Bhunjaye Shamana. Kahoye Lochanda.
Apana
Apanakarama
Karama
Bunjai
Bunjaye
Shamana
Shamana
Kahoy
Kahoe
Lochana
Lochana
Dasa
Dasa
Parama Karuna Pahu Dvijana. Nitai Gaura Chandra.
Parama
Parama
Karuna
Karuna
Bahu Dvijana
Pahudvijana
Nitai
Nitai Gaura
Chandra
Chandra
Parama Karuna Pahu Dvijana. Nitai Gaura Chandra.
Parama
Parama
Karuna
Karuna
Bahu Dvijana
Pahudvijana
Nitai
Nitai Gaura
Chandra
Chandra
Kab Avatar Shar Shiramani Kebalananda Kanda.
Sabhavata
Abhavata
Shiromani
Sashiromani Kevala
Kevala
Ananda
Ananda Kanda
Kanda
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajakaacharya Ashtotara Satashi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai
Jai
Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai.
Jai
Jai
ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai
Jai
Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai.
Jai
Jai
प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय।
Jai
Jai
श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय।
Jai
Jai
वृंदावन धाम की जय।
Jai
नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय।
Jai
Jai
गंगा माई की जय।
Jai
Jai
यमुना माई की जय।
Jai
Jai
तुलसी देवी की जय।
Jai
Jai
भक्ति देवी की जय।
Jai
Jai
समवेता भक्त वृंद की जय।
Jai
Jai
गौर प्रेम आनंदे।
Hari
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 Bol
Bol
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
All glory to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga Hari Hari Bo.
Hari Hari Bol
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Shami Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya
Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya
Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya
Vasudevaya
We are studying, reading, and discussing Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, fourth chapter, which is entitled The Confidential Reasons for Lord Chaitanya's Appearance. Here we are, verse 156. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. It's in Sanskrit. So maybe we should chant this responsibly. Gopyastapakimacharanyadamusharupam. Go
Gopyas Gopyastakim acharanyan. Gopyastapakim acharanyar amusha rupam.
Lavanyasaram asamurdvamananya siddham.
Lavanyasaram asamudvam
Asamudvam
ananya
ananya
siddham.
siddham.
Drigbhi pibantyanusabhavinavandurupam durapam.
Drigbi
Rigbi
bipantya
bipatyanu
nusavabhinavamandurupam durapam.
Yes, a little tricky, that one. Ekanta dhama yashasha shriya aishvaryasya.
Ekanta dama
Ekantadama
yasasya
yashasha
Shriya
striya
Aishvarasya
ashwarasya.
Gopyastapakimacharanyadamushyarupam.
Gopyastapakim
Gopyastapakim acharanyan
acharanyamusya
amusya
rupam.
rupam.
Lavanyasaram asamurdvamananya siddham.
Lavanyasaram
Lavanyasaram
asamudvam
asamudvam
ananya
ananya
siddham.
siddham.
Drigbhi pibatyanusavabhiravam durapam.
Drigbi
Drigbi
pibantya
bibyantyana
nusavabhinavam
savabhinavam
durapam.
durapam.
Ekanta dhama yashasha shriya aishvaryasya.
Ekanta dama
Ekantadama
yasasya
yashasa
Shriya
shriya
Aishvarasya.
aishwaryasya.
Please chant.
Oh,
Okay. Gopyastapakim acharanyan amusya rupam.
yadamusya
Gopyastapakimacharanyadamusharupam.
rupam.
Lavanyasaram asamudvam ananya siddham.
Lavanyasaram
Lavanyasaram asamudvam
asamurdvamananya
ananya
siddham.
siddham.
Drigbi bipantyanusab vabhinavam durapam.
Grigbi pagatya
Bibantya
anusavabhanavam
nusavabhinavam durapam.
durapam.
Ekantadama yashasa shriya aishwarasya.
Ekanta dhama
Ekantadama
yashasha
yashasa Shriya
shriya aishvaryasya.
Aishvarasya. Gopyastapakim acharanyaramusya rupam.
Gopyastapakim acharanyan amusya
Gopyastapakimacharanyadamusharupam.
rupam.
Lavanyasaram asamrutvam ananya siddham.
Lavanyasaram
Lavanyasaram asamudvam
asamurdvamananya
ananya
siddham.
siddham.
Drigbi bipan Drigbi pipantya nusavabhinavam durapam.
Drigbi
Drigbi
pribhatyanusavabhinavam
pantyanusavabhinavam
durapam.
durapam.
Ekantadama yashasa Shriya Aishvarasya.
Ekanta dhama
Ekantasama
yashasha
yashasa
shriya
shriya
aishvaryasya.
aishwaryasya.
Hare Krishna.
Anybody up for the challenge? Come on.
Damodar, you go.
गोप्यस्तमतपकिम् अचरन् यद् अमुष्यरूपम्
Gopyastakakim acharanyat amusya
Gopyastapakimacharanyadamusharupam.
rupam.
लावण्यसारम् असमूर्ध्वम् अनन्यसिद्धम्
Lavanyasaram
Lavanyasaram
Asamudvam
asamurdvamananya
ananya
asamudvam
siddham.
ananya
siddham.
siddham.
दृग्भिः पिबन्त्य अनुसवापविन्नं नवं दुरापम्
Drigbi
Drigbi
Rigbi
pibantya
pibantyanusavabhinavam
nusavabhinavam
bipyantanusavabhinavam
durapam.
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 एकान्तधाम यशसा श्रिय ऐश्वरस्य
Ekanta dhama
Ekantadama
yashasha
yashasa
shriya
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 aishvaryasya.
Aishvarasya.
aishwarasya.
Not bad, not bad.
Hare Krishna.
Ah,
Hare
yes.
Krishna.
No problem.
गोप्यस्तप किमाचरण यदमनुष्यरूपम्
Gopyastapakim acharanyat amusya
Gopyastapakimacharanyadamusharupam.
rupam.
लावण्यसारं समूर्धम् अनन्यसिद्धम्
Lavanyasaram
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 asamudvam
asamudva
ananya
asamurdvamananya
ananya
siddham.
siddham.
दृग्भिः पिबन्ति अनुसवाभिनवम् दुरापम्
Drigbi
Drigbi
Rigbi
pibantya
bipyantanusavabhinavam
nusavabhinavam
pibantyanusavabhinavam
durapam.
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 एकान्तधाम यशस्य श्रियश्वरस्य
Ekantadhama
Ekantadama
Ekantadama
yashasha
yashasa
yashasa
Shriya
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 Aishvarasya.
aishvaryasya.
asya.
Anyone else like to try? It's okay if you don't get it exactly right. Let's say, you have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you're not entitled to the fruits of action. Okay, all right. Word for word. Gopya, the gopis. Tapa, austerities. Kim, what? Acharan, performed. Yat, from which? Amushya, of such a one, Lord Krishna. Rupam, the form. Lavanyasharam, the essence of loveliness. Asama udvam, not paralleled or surpassed. Ananya siddham, not perfected by any other ornament, self-perfect. Drigbhi, by the eyes. Pibanti, they drink. Anusava abhinavam, constantly new. Durapam, difficult to obtain. Ekantadhama, the only abode. Yashasha, of fame. Shriya, of beauty. Aishvaryasya, of opulence. Translation. The women of Mathura said, "What austerities must the gopis have performed? With their eyes, they always drink the nectar of the form of Lord Krishna, which is the essence of loveliness, and is not to be equaled or surpassed. That loveliness is the only abode of beauty, fame, and opulence. It is self-perfect, ever fresh, and extremely rare." Purport. This text from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 44th chapter, 14th verse, was spoken by the women of Mathura when they saw Krishna and Balaram in the arena with King Kamsa's great wrestlers Mushtika and Chanura. Om Agyana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Shapandantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Before speaking, I would like to ask permissions and blessings from all devotees, and particularly those who are senior by age and or advancement in spiritual life, Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is a pretty amazing verse spoken by the women of Mathura. We know that in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Mam hi partha vyapashritya tepi syu papayoniya striyo vaishis tata shudras tepi yanti param gatim. That even those people who take shelter of me, even if papayoniya means they're born from sinful wombs, and or they're women, striyo, vaishyas or shudras, by taking shelter of me, they can achieve the highest destination, which is what? To go back home, back to Godhead, yes. So here we have a very practical example of women who have reached a very high level of Krishna consciousness. They're there personally with Lord Krishna in the wrestling arena, witnessing the wrestling match between Lord Krishna and Chandaru and Mushtika. Actually, from a material point of view, there's gradations according to education, birth, etc., wealth. But for a Vaishnava, those levels, categories should not be emphasized. Therefore, it says, Lord Chaitanya says, Je bhaje she boro. Whoever worships Krishna, Je bhaje she boro. That person is wonderful, great. Abhakta heen chai. And the non-devotee, they're low. Krishna bhajana nahi. And in terms of worshiping Krishna and serving Krishna, jati kuladi bichai. You don't consider what is a person's birth, by birth, background, kuladi, family, bichai, that like that. You don't consider those things. In fact, it's said that the person who thinks that a devotee is from a particular caste, who thinks that Mahaprasadam is material, they're residents of hell. So here's a practical example. These women of Mathura, and they're not even gopis, they're the level of the gopis is the highest level, but they're composing this amazing prayer to Lord Krishna spontaneously upon seeing him. Let's look at the words here. It's very, very instructive. If we can move it up to the verse. Yeah, so they say, what austerities have these gopis done? They must have done wonderful austerities because they have this great fortune to be able to see Lord Krishna all the time. Whereas the residents of Mathura, it's their very first time they're being able to see Lord Krishna. But we know in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Naham Veda na tapasa, na danena, na chejaya. It's not by study of the Vedas, nor austerity, nor giving in charity, nor worship. It's not by these processes that you can know me. So are these gopis, ladies of Mathura, not aware of that stricture from the Bhagavad Gita? Because they're saying, oh, what austerities did these gopis perform? What do you think? Now that wasn't a rhetorical question. That was an actual question. What do you think?
Well, devotional service does involve some austerities too.
How's that?
So, sometimes you face challenges, and not to mention having to get up early and 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 chant and then give that Brahma to Krishna
Okay,
against what the
so
body
yeah, so
wants.
you gave the example of getting up early in the morning. You're in the Brahma Muhurta hours, and so there are many people who get up early. They're like the third shift workers, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So do they get the benefit of making spiritual advancement?
They don't
What do
get
you
up
think?
for spiritual reasons.
Okay. So tapasya, everybody's undergoing some tapasya.
Mm.
A research scientist studies, works hard to discover something in the research, and they go through great tapasya. They don't get paid very much. They go through long hours. A policeman, they work hard, but the purpose of the tapasya is not, the goal isn't Krishna consciousness, to please Krishna.
Mm.
So like we're devotees, Hare Krishna devotees also, we perform certain austerities also, as you mentioned, rising early, but not just the rising early itself is going to help one advance, but if one rises early to engage in Krishna consciousness and chanting the holy names, attending Mangalarti, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, then that austerity is not just austerity, but it's austerity and devotional service. So that's the kind of austerity that the women of Mathura are describing. Krishna says in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Yat karoshi yadajnasi yajjuhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat karusha madarpanam. So you can, whatever you do, yat karoshi yadajnasi, whatever you eat, whatever austerities you perform, do it for me. So you can do austerity. So austerities done for the pleasure of Krishna, that's devotional service. You follow? Yeah, so that's the kind of austerities described here. Similarly, there's the verses in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. It says, Shrinvata svakata Krishna punya shravana kirtana prudenta stohya badrani vidunoti suritsatam. So this punya, this hearing of the Srimad Bhagavatam is pious activity. But I thought pious activity just binds you to the material world, isn't it? Pious or impious, it's all part of the material karmic reaction, isn't it?
Depends who is being done for.
Okay, so there's transcendental piety.
Yeah.
Transcendental piety, that's what's referred here, is there in hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's not ordinary piety. Yeah. Or one may fast. Somebody may fast. So if you fast because you want to lose weight, okay, they're very nice. But fasting on Ekadashi or Janmashtami or Nrsimha Chaturdashi, not just fasting, but to use the extra time to hear and chant about Krishna, that's the point. That's devotional activity. Well, this is important part. Austerity and devotional service. Punya Shravana Kirtana. This is what you're doing. What we're doing is transcendental piety. So that's the piety that the women of Mathura are describing. Then they're amazed because the gopis have that wonderful fortune of seeing Lord Krishna's form, rupam form, all the time. Then look at this. Look at these words. They're really amazing. Let's troll down just a little bit. Scroll down. Yeah. There we go. Lavanya sadham, the essence of loveliness. Now think about that. Usually you don't think of males as lovely. Do you think about it? But this is real. This is you see. And you know what that first word lavan? What is lavan? What is lavan? Anyway, that's the essence of lavan, the essence of loveliness. Then the next word. This is another name for Krishna or description of Krishna. Asamordvam. So sama means equal. And asam means not equal. And urdvam means above. So nobody is equal to or above that beauty that Krishna has. Asamurdvam. Nobody is equal to sama, and urdvam, higher than. And then Ananya Siddham. Wow, these are amazing words. Ananya Siddham. He's not, his beauty, his loveliness is not gathered by any other feature or enhanced by any other feature. Can you give any examples of beauty that's, dependent on other circumstances? Think about it.
I can give a mundane one.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Those who sometimes I forget the name to describe them, but anyway, especially like news anchors before they come on, and they go to these people that the beauty people, they just put so much makeup on their face and
Oh
then they
yeah,
come
yeah,
up
yes.
looking.
Because it's their attractiveness is not
Yeah,
intrinsic. It has to be butted up. Yes, it has to be
yeah,
improved, right? Anybody else? These are amazing words. You have to think about it a little bit, but these are highly advanced devotees saying this. Anyway,
mm,
I thought of some things like, for example, if you have a beautiful gem,
yeah,
if you throw the gem, is just you see it on in the dirt, then who cares? But if it's in a wonderful setting, a gold or platinum setting, then it enhances the beauty, right? Or say there's a very attractive man or woman, but they're dressed in scruffy clothes. Think about that. Dressed in scruffy clothes, are they as attractive? Nah, you don't.
not
So
really.
the beauty of the person is to a certain extent dependent on the environment or the situation that the person is involved in. So, but this point they're making, the women of Mathura are making, is that Lord Krishna's beauty is not dependent on any other side. It's, as is mentioned here, it's self-perfect, self-perfect, ananya siddham. And then their pibanti means they drink. They're drinking with their eyes. Those gopis are drinking. And then the next word is anusava abhinavam. Navam. We know this same idea is mentioned in the Brahma Samhita. Advaitam, Achutam, Anadim, Anantarupam, Adyam, Purana Purusham, Navayovanam cha. This described Lord Brahma in his description of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is saying, Advaitam, he's non-dual. Achutam, never falls down. Anadi, beginningless. This is God. Anantarupam. Anantarupa means he has unlimited forms, even though he's Advaita. Even though he's one, he has unlimited forms, and his forms are unlimited. They're not limited like us, our forms. Anantarupam. Adyam. He's the original. Purana Purusham. The oldest person. Navayovanam cha. But he's always fresh, always a fresh youth, even though he's the oldest person. These things don't work in the material world. This is something completely transcendental. Vedeshu durlabham. Is very difficult to understand simply by study of the Vedas without devotion. Adurlabham atma bhakto, but he becomes easily conquered by devotional service of the self, of the soul. Yeah. So the same idea is here. So in the material world, there are many beautiful beings, persons, men, women, uh, situations. Some you see a beautiful flower. Now we're in springtime, and in springtime many flowers bloom. Like, do you have any tulips over there in Harrisburg?
Yes, Prabhu.
Tulips?
Yes,
Tulips.
there is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yes, you have
Yes,
tulips
I mean,
bloom.
tulips and daffodils.
Daffodils and tulips,
Yeah.
yeah. But how long do they last?
I think no more than a month
At most a month. Yeah,
at
yeah.
most.
Yeah. And even from the physical, the humans, their beauty might last a little bit longer, or horses. Srila Prabhupada asked once, what's the most beautiful animal? He asked the devotees, and so they said, they responded, a cow. Yeah, he
They
said,
said
Cow.
the
Yeah, I
cow.
thought so.
and
Cow.
Prabhupada said,
No.
no, not a cow, not a cow.
Yeah.
He said, what, Parikshit Prabhu?
Horse.
Yeah, he said, horse is the most beautiful
Mm.
animal. Yeah. Anyway, but even so, how long will the beauty last of the man, women, cow, horse, You know, even they try to. There was a famous racehorse who died. You know, who won the Triple Crown, and they embalmed him, and they put him in a mausoleum in Kentucky somewhere. You can go there. Costs $20 to get in to see his embalmed body, but it's not very attractive.
Hmm.
So how long will the beauty last? But here, navayovanam cha. It never goes. It never deteriorates. This is the word is anusava abhinavam, constantly new. Even something that's kind of nice, new, it wears off. You know, the attraction wears off after a short time. You get there's a satiation, but with Lord Krishna's beauty, it doesn't. There's no satiation point. The attraction is continuous and very difficult to obtain. Or in the translation, it says extremely rare, extremely rare. How rare? Extremely rare. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaya yatatam api siddhanam kaschid mam veti tatvata. Out of thousands of people, one may be even interested, and out of thousands of those, maybe one can understand. Out of millions of people, they can understand this wonderful qualities of Krishna. So, in the regular talk, people are in the habit of saying, if they talk about God at all, they'll say, "Oh, God is all powerful." Have you heard people say that? Do we believe that also? Is that part of Krishna conscious philosophy as well? Yes, God is all powerful. But the acharyas, Parashara Muni and his followers, Vedvyas and others, Srila Prabhupada, they detail what power that all powerful means. One aspect of power is beauty, isn't it? One aspect of power is beauty. The most beautiful person, they can bewilder even very learned scientists by their display of the beauty. So beauty is one of the aspects of power, and that's being focused on here in this verse by the women of Mathura. We know this categorized by Parashara Muni. There's 6 aspects of power, or opulence is another way of saying it. Aishvaryasya, samagrasya, viryasya, yashasha, shriya, jnana, vairagyaschapi. You know these? The 6 opulences of Krishna, of Bhagavan. Aishvaryasya, samagrasya. Full, in this case, Aishvaryasya means full wealth. Viryasya. Viryasya means strength, yeah. Yashasha, mentioned here. Fame. Shriya, beauty. Jnana, knowledge. Vairagya, and renunciation. Lord Krishna has all of those qualities to the nth degree, more than anyone else. Therefore, he's asamordvam, as mentioned here. So they're describing these wonderful qualities of Krishna. And this is quoted by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami from Srimad Bhagavatam. Any idea why he's quoting this verse here in this part of the Chaitanya Charitamrita? Any guesses?
Is it because, Prabhu, that Lord Chaitanya himself has those qualities?
Yes, that's one reason, but there's another reason. I mean, it's a little more developed of that reason. Yes, yes. What's this chapter
Well, the
called?
chapter is entitled The Confidential Reasons for the Appearance of Lord Chaitanya.
Yeah. And what are those confidential reasons? I know it's hard to get in my mind. It's very elevated, so it doesn't fit easily. But by repetition, we can get it. The first one is the glories of the love of Srimati Radharani and the gopis, but particularly Srimati Radharani. Number two is
The bliss.
no,
That's the third one.
Relish the mood.
no.
No. The second one, that transcendental. So, I always quote the third, but not the first two.
The qualities in Krishna that
Yes.
attract Srimati Radharani. So that's what's being focused on here. These qualities, this incredible beauty is being focused on as part of the number two reason. So that's my understanding of Krishnadas Kaviraj focusing on this at this point in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Does that make sense? So this verse is an illustration of that point. Okay. Comments, questions, observations, corrections?
So, Prabhu, the transcendental qualities is actually what this verse is talking about that we also see in Lord Chaitanya.
Yes, because he's Krishna
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah, yeah.
So your answer was correct. You just need to go a little further. That's all.
Yes, yeah. I was just thinking how beautiful it is that, that the Lord himself is very, beautiful, long arms, down to the knees and all that description that we'll probably hear later on. But yeah, I was just thinking about the beauty, the fame, and yeah, okay. Thank you.
And the beauty in this material world is temporary. It fades. It's in that sense, it's an illusion. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada would give the example of an animal will leave an oasis in the desert to chase a mirage and run out thinking that mirage is water. But then going further and further, the mirage keeps receding further and further away, and then eventually the animal dies of thirst and heat. So that's us in the material world, running after the temporary, illusory attractions in the material world when the full attraction is there with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's within everyone's heart. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj says, Nate vidu svartagatim hi Vishnu. Well, people in general don't know that the real happiness, the real beauty, the real love is there in between the little soul and Krishna, God. Thank you. Next verse. This is Bengali. We have any Bengali speakers here?
No, Prabhu, he's not
Okay.
here today.
Apurva Madhuri Krishner, Apurva Tar Bola, Jahar Shrabane Man Hoy Talamala. The sweetness of Lord Krishna is unprecedented, and its strength is also unprecedented. Simply by one's hearing of such beauty, the mind becomes unsteady. That is the Apurva, unprecedented. So that's a name for Krishna, Apurva. Okay. Next. Krishner Madhurje Krishne Upajay Lob Samyak Ashvadite Nare Mane Rohe Shob. Lord Krishna's own beauty attracts Lord Krishna himself, Chaitanya. But because he cannot fully enjoy it, his mind remains full of sorrow. Eta dvitiya hetura kohila vivaran, tritiya hetura ebe shunaha loktan. This is a description of his second desire. So that was what we were previously, right? That's what we just said. Those were the second reasons. Now, what follows is please listen as I describe the third. Atyanta nigudha e rasher siddhanta sharup koshani matra jnanena ekanta. This conclusion of rasa is extremely deep. Only Svarup Damodar knows much about it. So we're getting in on the real secret stuff. This is very beyond our pay grade here, but still, we're hearing it. Jeba keha anya jane sheha taha poite chaitanya goshai teha antyanta marma jate. Anyone else who claims to know it must have heard it from him, for he was the most intimate companion of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami heard it. He must have heard it from Sri Rup Damodar, yes, right? But through Raghunath Das Goswami. Gopi Goner Premer Rudha Bhava Nam Vishuddha Nirmala Prem Kabhu Nahe Kam. The love of the gopis is called Rudha Bhava. It is pure and spotless. It is not at any time lust. Purport. As already explained, the position of the gopis in their loving dealings with Krishna is transcendental. Their emotion is called Rudha Bhav. Although it is apparently like mundane sex, one should not confuse it with mundane sexual love, for it is pure and unadulterated love of Godhead. Next. Premaiva, this looks like Sanskrit, yeah. Premaiva Gopa Ramanam Kamat Ityagamat Pratam Iti Udhavadayo Pyetang Vanchante Bhagavat Priya. The pure love of the gopis has become celebrated by the name lust. The dear devotees of the Lord, headed by Sri Uddhava, desire to taste that love. Purport. This is a verse from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-2-285. Okay, next. Krishna Prema Dohakar Vibhinna Lakkan Loha Ar Hema Jaiche Sarupe Vilakkan. Lust and love have different characteristics, just as iron and gold have different natures. Purport. One should try to discriminate between sexual love and pure love, for they belong to different categories with a gulf of difference between them. They are as different from one another as iron is from gold. Next one. This is the last of the verses you assigned me. And this is a very, very important verse. And we should, if you don't know that, maybe we could just go over it a few times. This is the definition of lust and love. Atmendriya priti vancha tare bole kam, Krishnendriya priti icha dhare prema nam. So let's break that down. You see, Atmendriya, Indriya's senses, and Atmendriya means one's own senses. Priti, satisfaction or pleasure. Vancha, like we say, vancha kalpataru, vancha, desire tree. Desire to please one's own senses. Tare, bole, I say, that's calm. Krishnendriya priti, and the senses, the senses of Krishna, icha, the desire, icha is desire. Dhare, the desire to please Krishna's senses, dhare, that holding that desire. Prema, now that's called Prema, love. Okay. We're gonna recite this a few times just to kind of solidify it in our minds, okay? If you can learn this verse, Srila Prabhupada quoted this verse very, very often. It's a very important verse. So I'll say the first line, then we'll say the second, and then you repeat. I'll say the second line, repeat. We'll do it maybe 3 or 4 times just to get it kind of fixed on our mind, all right? Yeah, I'm doing this unorthodox, I know, but it's okay. I say, you say, and if you can unmute, that's great. I want to hear those sounds, okay? Atmendriya priti vancha tare bole kan. Go ahead.
Atmendriya Priti Vancha Tare Bolekam.
Yes. Atmendriya priti vancha tare boli kan.
Atmendriya Priti Vancha
Tare
Tare Bolekam.
Atmendriya priti vancha tare bole kan.
Atmendriya Priti Vancha Tare Bolekam.
Krishnendriya priti icha dhare prema na.
Krishna Indriya Priti Icha Hare Prema.
Krishnendriya priti icha dhare prema na.
Vishnugada Priti Ischa Dhare Prema Nam.
Krishnendriya priti icha dhare prema na.
Krishnendriya Priti Ischa
Dhare.
Dhare Prema Nam.
Okay, we'll do the whole thing a few times now. I say the whole thing and you'll say the whole thing. Atmendriya priti vancha tare bole kam. Krishnendriya priti icha dhare prema nam.
Atmendriya Priti Vancha Tare Bolakam. Krishnendriya Priti Ischa Dhare Prema Nam.
Atmendriya priti vancha tare bole kam. Krishnendriya priti icha dhare prema nam.
Atmendriya Priti Vancha Tare Bolakam. Krishnendriya Priti Ischa Dhare Prema Nam.
You got it? You got it? Okay. Well, let's read the translation and purport. This is a pretty amazing purport here. We'll see. Translation. The desire to gratify one's own senses is kama, lust. But the desire to please the senses of Lord Krishna is prema, love. Purport. The revealed scriptures describe pure love as follows. Sarvata dvangsha rahitam satyapi dvangsha karane yadbhava bandhanam yuno saprema parikirtita. If there is ample reason for the dissolution of a conjugal relationship, and yet such a dissolution does not take place, such a relationship of intimate love is called pure. The predominated gopis were bound to Krishna in such pure love. For them, there was no question of sexual love based on sense gratification. Their only engagement in life was to see Krishna happy in all respects, regardless of their own personal interests. They dedicated their souls only for the satisfaction of the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. There was not the slightest tinge of sexual love between the gopis and Krishna. The author of Chaitanya Charitamrita asserts with authority that sexual love is a matter of personal sense gratification. All the regulative principles in the Vedas pertaining to desires for, listen to this list, Srila Prabhupada's going to go on. Desires for popularity, fatherhood, wealth, and so on are different phases of sense gratification. Acts of sense gratification may be performed under the cover of public welfare, nationalism, religion, altruism, ethical codes, biblical codes. I thought that was quite interesting. Srila Prabhupada was in putting in biblical codes, health directives, fruitive action, bashfulness, tolerance, personal comfort, liberation from material bondage, progress, family affection, or fear of social ostracism or legal punishment. But all these categories are different subdivisions of one substance, sense gratification. All such good acts are performed basically for one's own sense gratification. For no one can sacrifice his personal interest while discharging these much advertised moral and religious principles. But above all this is a transcendental stage in which one feels himself to be only an eternal servant of Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead. All acts performed in this sense of servitude are called pure love of God, because they are performed for the absolute sense gratification of Sri Krishna. However, any act performed for the purpose of enjoying its fruits or results is an act of sense gratification. Such actions are visible sometimes in gross and sometimes in subtle forms. Wow, that was really very amazing purport. We know in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, in the 3rd chapter, he says, Yagyartat karmanonyatra loko yam karma bandhana tadaham karma konteya mukta sangha samachara. You know that verse, important verse. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work binds you to the material world. Isn't it interesting? Therefore, perform your prescribed duties always for his satisfaction. And in this way, you'll remain unattached and free from bondage. So this is Lord Chaitanya's message about how to perform devotional service. There's all kinds of material desires that can infect our performance of devotional service. There are many, many different kinds, subtle and gross. But hopefully our desire is to come to the pure stage of doing things exclusively for the satisfaction of Krishna and not for our satisfaction. Now, so therefore you have in the Shikshastakam, there's Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya emphasizes this aspect of devotional service in his prayers. Do you know any of those that you could cite that reflect this same point?
Ashlishvatva.
Yeah, that's one. I was thinking of number 4 as well. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim kavitam vajagadisha kamaye mama janamani shari bhavatat bhakti rahaitaki tvaye. Yeah. I'm not looking for some wealth. So give me a donation. No, I'm not looking for that. Na janam. I don't want people to glorify me, be my followers. Na sundarim kavitam, or have a beautiful, a very very accommodating partner. Yeah, that's not what I want. What do I want? Janamani janas bhavatat bhakti. I want to do you please you. And I don't even want liberation. I don't even want liberation because janamani shvare, birth after birth, I want that. So the real devotional service must be so wonderful, not even caring you have to come back to this material world. This is amazing. This is amazing. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Bhakti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakala Ashanta Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Ati Vashanti. The person who's after some material gain, Bhakti, Mukti, someone who's after liberation, or Siddhi, someone who's after yogic siddhis. All of these people are Ashanta, means irritated, agitated, not happy. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama. Only a devotee of Krishna is happy because he's only happy because he can engage in devotional service anywhere at any time, or be pleased. How can you do that? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Take it with you. Take it on a trip. You don't even have, it doesn't take up much space in your luggage, right? That's all right. Yeah. Hare Krishna. And then, of course, as Nitya Gopal Prabhu said, again, this emphasis on, as mentioned here, Prabhupada quotes that even if, the beloved doesn't satisfy you, or you get some, there's a good reason for you to give up that relationship. The devotees treated me bad, right? They treated me, they weren't very nice to me. They cheated me even sometimes. Ashlishya vapadadatam punashtumam adarshana madmahatang kurotava. Krishna, the gopis said, in this case, Lord Chaitanya, following the gopis said, even though Lord Krishna may kick me, he may kick me, or he might be a debauchee, he might have other people he's involved with, but still, he's my worshipful Lord unconditionally. There's good reason for me to reject him, but I still can't do, because he's that's the basis of love given here in the Shikshastika by Lord Chaitanya as well. Number 4, number 8, very nice verses. That is the symptom of love. So even, in Krishna consciousness, there will be challenges. Maya always gives someone on the spiritual path tests and challenges, because why is that? Because our attention and our interest in service of Krishna is not pure. It has to be purified. And one way of being purified is, like this is mentioned, is for Krishna to kick us sometimes. When Parikshit Maharaj asked Shukadev Goswami, how is it that the devotees of Lord Shiva are so opulent, whereas he lives in a crematorium, whereas the devotees of Vishnu, who's the husband of the goddess of fortune, they're poor. So Lord Shukadev Goswami said, funny thing you should ask. Your grandfather asked the same thing to Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna responded, Yes, Yaham Anugrinami Harishye Tad Dharam Shanai. If I'm really merciful to someone, I give them a hard time. I take their things away from them. I take things away step by step. Oh, look out, folks. Look out. And of course, that doesn't just mean material things. It can be material. It could be, possessions, but it can also be respect. It can be so many things. A comfortable place. So many things. And if a devotee thinks, oh, yeah, how come Krishna did this to me? That's not fair. It's not fair. That's not good for our spiritual life. The Pandavas, they were the personal friends of Krishna, and they got kicked out of their palace, isn't it? They were living in the forest. They're the personal friends of Krishna. Arjuna, come on. But did he once say, come on, Krishna, what's this all about? He didn't say. So anyway, if we can do, of course, that's a very elevated platform. We have to come to that platform, and we can practice that even in our daily life when things don't go our way. And we think, why should we serve Krishna? But if we can persevere in our efforts to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna will be very kind to us and make us and award us advancement on the spiritual path back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. I know I went over time, but I thought this was important.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for a very nice class, very interactive class right from the beginning. And so it was wonderful. The devotees still, we're past the hour, but if you have any last minute questions or takeaways that you want to share here, you can unmute yourself. If not, then...
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances, Saga Shishir Prabhupada. Prabhu, thank you so much for this wonderful interactive class, as Parikshit said, and also this concluding part. I kind of missed some because I had a call from Madhuha Prabhu, so I'm going to go back and play it. But Prabhu, this last verse is really, really powerful, where, and I wanted to ask you, in terms of preaching, and especially not just for congregation within the temple, but even when we go out to the streets for preaching purpose, how can we really what's the word, explain or differentiate the love, between Radha and Krishna, and not have them look at it as a lusty way? Like, how can we explain to them?
Well, I mean, this verse is there. That's our understanding of love. In the material world, there's people serving others. You have to serve your boss, you serve your family, you serve your country. And Srila Prabhupada would often give examples like Gandhi, Mohandas Gandhi. He was such a great servitor of his country. Well, what happened? His countrymen killed him,
Got
right?
killed. Mhm.
So, a person might be a very good employee and serve the boss very wonderfully, but as soon as if their salary is cut off, how long will they serve? So the essence of these relationships is really a business, not love. I'll only continue to do my, so really all this kind of service in the material, supposed service in the material is business oriented. Real love is there when we want to please Krishna senses, and we're not thinking what are we going to get out of it. So explaining that, and then of course there's many kind of examples that Srila Prabhupada would give. The story about the revolt of the senses. The eyes, the nose, the ears, the fingers, they all got together and said, listen, we do all the work and the stomach enjoys. That's not fair. What's not fair? We're going on strike, and because we should get all that. So they go on strike, and because the finger, everything, the eyes, the eyes discover where the food is. The legs walk over there. They hear what it is. Then they go and grab it. They put it in the mouth. It goes to the stomach. Oh, the stomach gets all the enjoyment. So what about us? So they go on strike against the stomach. And what happens? They get weaker and weaker and weaker. But the system is serving the center, Krishna. Then automatically you'll be nourished. That's our philosophy.
Prabhu,
I don't
also
know.
you made a nice, a very nice point about, that that sometimes we do things in a business form rather than a relationship. Like, if you do this, then I'll do service. If you don't give me this, then I won't do service,
Yes.
And I personally have come across that situation, sadly, with devotees,
Yeah, we
if
all
you
do it to some extent sometimes. We all do it. Yeah.
yeah, and it's really sad because it just makes me think, wow, is this is this relationship, that we hear so much about, that, yeah, how can we really transcend that, Prabhu? Because I do experience that even till today, sadly, you do this for me, then I'll do that for you. You give me this, then I'll give money. Like, how do we transcend that consciousness, Prabhu?
We keep on hearing this philosophy again and again. I mean, there's 4 kinds of pious people who come to Krishna. Chatur Vida Bhajante Mam, Jana Sukritan Arjuna, Arto Jigyasa Artati, Gyani Cha Bharatash. So one of those people is people who want to do business with Krishna. Yeah. We hear even in the lives of great devotees, like say, my godbrother Kurma Rupa. You remember Kurma Rupa? Yeah, so he was
The cook.
no, that's Kurma, but Kurma Rupa, another devotee.
Oh,
He
no.
did he had the Goshala in Vrindavan for many, many, many years. So anyway, but he told the story about how when he was drafted to go to the Vietnam War. And so he said, God, if you can get me out of this, I'll dedicate my life to you. So he got out. He somehow, there was some technicality, so he didn't get drafted. So he did. He followed it. He did it. He joined Hare Krishna movement. So it's not. That's a level of devotion, but step by step we have to practice in getting more and more pure. So if we can, it's hard, but if we can see when the difficulties come, then that's Krishna's. Who's giving those difficulties to us? Krishna, to help us make advancement. All the difficulties will come. Therefore, Mother Kunti she said, Vipada tantu takshasva tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yatsya apunadbhavarashanam. She said, "Oh Krishna, let these troubles come, because when the troubles come, then we remember you." Yeah. So anyway, if we can get to that point, that'd be great. Not that we're going to search out troubles, but when they do come, if we can practice that, it'll be a good thing. And it's a practice. It's hard. It's not easy. But that's
what is
the
even
purification.
difficult? How was, we were listening to Prabhupada's lecture yesterday, and what is it's interesting, Prabhu, that you mentioned about Queen Kunti's prayers in praying for problems to remember the Lord. I was even having this thought, Prabhu, which was very, very difficult. Not only was she praying for calamities to remember the Lord, but lack of better word, there wasn't any guarantee that that issue was going to be resolved, and she was still praying for it. That's the difficult part, Prabhu.
Yes.
Because people pray to the Lord to free them from the calamities, but she was praying for it to come, to remember the Lord, but not knowing whether they will be free from the calamity. But she was still praying. I'm thinking, Krishna, this is like intense.
She and in her prayer she mentioned all the calamities that they'd faced. Bishan Mahagne Purushada Darshanat. Yeah, all these she went through them one after another. She was in the house of lack. They burned there was attempted murder, right? Then there was the Purushada, means the Hidimba demon tried to devour them. Then there was so many things, like one after another, so many difficulties. It's a transcendental adventure, You see, adventure stories. Krishna saved them. Christ saved her in all circumstances. It wasn't easy all the time, but it was tough. And she recognized that Krishna. It wasn't by her own power, but Krishna. She recognized that Lord Krishna saved, protected her. That's one of the 6 symptoms of surrender. By Bhaktivinoda Thakur, is to have conviction that one is being protected by Lord Krishna. Anyway, those are things. I mean, we can think about that today. It'll be good.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare
So
Krishna.
much in-depth descriptions of what we need to just take on, understand, so that we can just still stay excited about the consciousness. Whichever way, reversals, non-reversals, we go on anyway. Thank
Well
you
said.
very much.
Well said, Parikshit Prabhu.
Krishna's
Vancha
blessed.
kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo
Namo
vai.
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Oh,
Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for a wonderful
Hare
class.
Krishna. Jai.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bless you, Prabhupada.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Jai. Bless you, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Shara Mataji. Bless you, Prabhupada. Jai. Hare Krishna, Suzanne. Bless you, Prabhupada. You're always there. That's what